Hi, my name is Deja Rubel, and this is my portfolio presentation for MISI 610, Database Management and Security. In this portfolio presentation, I will go through each of our assignments and show you some highlights and just give an executive summary of each. The first assignment we had was our database design assignment. We talked about the 3 normal forms of normalization, but our big takeaway was getting our databases designed with 9 tables approximately. So this is my database. This is a database designed for an AV equipment loan database where you have employees with departments, equipment types with vendors and manufacturers, equipment numbers, usage types, and then everything feeding into an order detail bridge table here. The purple's all indexes, and everything else with primary key and foreign key is marked and linked with the crow's feet. Once we got our design finalized with Dr. Goglin, our second assignment was data dictionary, security, standards, and design. So for that, we got to create a data dictionary. And this is an example of my data dictionary. As you can see, we had to define every attribute in a table, list whether it's primary key, foreign key, the data type, whether or not you could have nulls, a description, and an example. This assignment, we also got to talk about various standards, like naming standards, platform standards, software standards, and all that as it applied to our database, as well as come up with some security parameters for our database. In my case, this was a little bit different because A, I don't have numeric data, and B, I don't really have anything that need to be super secure. So that was a little bit fudged. For the third assignment, our database backup and recovery plan, we all got the same scenario of 3 DBAs with various levels of databases. So I wrote mine up as sort of a round robin where DBA backs up the most critical content, but DBAs B and C also know how to back up tier 1s. In addition to that, we had to create a schedule. So I have full backups, 1 differential backup a day, and then everything else is logs. My color coding shows the various tiers, bolding for things that had to have some sort of retention. So I felt that worked pretty well. In addition to this, we also had to come up with time estimates, retentions, rotations, locations of where you would store your backup copies, documentation, and security parameters. After that, we got to talk about recovery, so we created a flowchart for that. And here's my recovery flowchart. So, everything from outages, verification, creating backups. I think my flowchart in this case is a little bit different, just because I included this loop at the bottom on testing for checksums. We didn't talk much about checksums in class, but it's something we use in data preservation a lot. So I think it would still be useful to use for backup and recovery. And then after that, setting stuff as DBO, talking to power users, and then how to make it live again. So under recovery, we also talk about metrics. So I provide some business impact analysis metrics as well as disaster recovery metrics. And then the next part of the assignment was discussing turnover. So we got to make another flowchart for turnover. So turnover is whenever you have to launch new versions of software. So, go through, make a test plan, make test data, go through this, error generation loop until you have no more errors, and then how to get it into pre-production, and then eventually move it into production. And so with turnover, you want to have a change log. So we got to make up a nice little form for a change log, which is basically just documenting how things got changed, and who was notified, and whether or not things were inspected. So this is essentially all the steps for each database, and, all the fields need to complete. So that is backup and recovery in a nutshell. And then our next assignment is the one that took me forever because we had to do SQL queries. And we had to do them in SQL Server, which I love, and Oracle, which I do not love. So I'm only going to show you a couple of these. This first one. Actually, we'll go over back to here. This is a 3-table join that lists the name of the employee who placed an order and their department grouped by department name and then last name and first name. So you can see the 3 fields you're selecting from these 3 tables where the employee number matches, department number matches, and then you group by. So this is what it spits back at you. And if you want, I'll hit execute so you can see it run. And so we have a couple of McGraths and accounting that are grouped together. And I think that's pretty awesome. The other thing that I made that I like a lot, which is this procedure, it takes 5 characters of a departmental short code and tells you what the department is. I'm not going to run it because it creates the procedure twice, but if you do execute, you get cone for construction engineering. So that's also pretty cool and possibly rather useful, even though it's a tiny little procedure. So that leads us to our last assignment, database security and incident response. And there's not a lot to show here, simply because it's all text. But the main thing I did for my assignment that might have made it a little bit different and hopefully better in my case or more secure is breaking out a perimeter network known as the extranet, and that has sort of a double VPN. So there's a VPN to access the extranet, and then if you're an employee, you have your employee password, which is different than your extranet password to go through the corporate firewall on the other side of the extranet. That should allow you to do things like wall off external intruders a little bit more easily, and also prevent them from going through and penetrating your actual good corporate assets. Again, I struggled a little bit with how to, police and prevent and also block an internal attack. But again, I think that's more due to the specificity of the scenario we were given, because if we have some idea of what's being compromised and where it's being compromised, that makes it a little bit easier to sort of pinpoint, okay, who do you lock down? So I sort of did it with a concentric, circle defense, sort of, if this is penetrated, lock the people down who have access and then spread out as needed. So, all right, that in a nutshell is my portfolio presentation. I learned quite a bit in this class, and I definitely still need to learn more because I need to work on my SQL to make it nice. So thank you, Dr. Goglin, and have a great day.